But Naaman was a man that was used to being honored. He was a man of valor. He was a man of war. He was very skilled at war, and he was very good. And he had led the Syrians in many battles, and they had won many battles through his leadership. And so, therefore, he had gained popularity. He had gained notoriety to the point that he was used to being honored. But nevertheless, when he got to Elijah's house, Elijah did not even come out to greet him. Elijah sent a messenger unto him, and Elijah gave him instructions, and I'm going to read those instructions to you in verse 10. And Elijah sent a messenger to him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean. And as we all know, and we talked a little bit about this last week, Naaman was dealing with a fatal disease that would slowly deteriorate him. It would his body parts would begin to slowly decay and to fall off, and eventually it would lead to the fatality of him. And nevertheless, there was no cure for leprosy. Is there anybody that's dealing with something that you feel like there is no cure for it? Come on here. You feel like it ain't gonna get better. You feel like that you just have to deal with this. This is just the hand that I have been dealt. So this is what I have to deal with. This is just the thing that God has assigned to me. So I just have to deal with it. And that's what Naaman was dealing with. He was dealing with something that no earthly person could help him with on his own. And so therefore he was sent to Elijah, and Elijah gave him some instructions. And you got to watch what Naaman's response was, because oftentimes what happens to us is, watch this, we are praying and we are asking God for something, and God sends it. Oh my. Watch this. And God will send it. And then we struggle. Come on. Is there anybody that's been asking God for something? You've been praying and you've been believing God for something, and you think you have the answer. You think you have the answer. Or you thought you heard God say something, but you wasn't quite sure. Nevertheless, Naaman had he got the instructions. Come on here. Naaman got the instructions to the thing that he was seeking for. Notice what I'm saying to you. Naaman received the instructions to the answer that he was seeking for. Oh my. Could it be that God has given you the answer to the instructions that you are looking for, but you can't recognize it? I'm going to deal with that a little bit more. Verse 10, and Elijah sent a messenger to him, talking about Naaman, saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean. Oftentimes, watch this, we're looking for the answer instead of focusing on hearing the answer. Come on here. Did anybody catch that? Because notice what Elijah did. Elijah gave him the instructions that was going to get him the manifestation that he was looking for. But he was so caught up on seeing it the way that he wanted to see it that he missed what he was hearing. Come on here. I just came to serve notice on somebody that what you're looking for, you're not necessarily looking for it. You need to be hearing for it. Come on here. I just need for somebody to pull their ears and say, I got to shake my ears. I got to shake my ears. Because sometimes in the process of you getting what God has promised you, sometimes you literally have to close your eyes. Come on here. Is there anybody that has to close their eyes? Because what I see ain't matching what I'm looking for. In the process, you got to sometimes close. Come on. You got to close your eyes and open your ears. Come on here. I just need for somebody to type that for me in the message box. I'm dealing with something that I got to close my eyes and open my ears. And And I've been looking for it to the point, watch this, that when I hear it, because I've been expecting to see it a certain way, that what I'm hearing ain't matching what I've been looking for. I'm gonna bring it to you in the text. Watch this, because verse 11 says, but Naaman was angry. Come on, I want to talk to the angry folks. You've been angry at God. You've been angry at his mouthpieces because they have been giving you the instructions that God is leading them to give to you. But because you had it already preset in your mind about how you wanted to see it, how you should see it, how you saw somebody else get it. Come on here. That now it's messing up your hearing. Woo! I need for somebody to catch that. Come on. You've already had this thing preset to the point that now it's messing up what you are actually hearing because you've been looking at what you saw somebody else get or how God worked it out for somebody else. And now you have it preset in your mind, in your eyesight, that that's how he's supposed to do it for you. And it's causing you, watch this, you heard it. But now you're not even in the position where you can process what you heard because you're so focused on what you saw, what you preset it to look like, that now it's made you angry. Oh my, it's made you angry. And now you're mad at God. But I came to serve notice on you. I came to help you today because watch this. The message today is called Hold Up. What's the hold up? And the first hold up is the indication that something is wrong. You don't have a problem acknowledging that something is wrong. No, this ain't what God promised me. Is there anybody that knows that the thing that you've been dealing with is not what God has promised you? Come on, God didn't promise you that your money would be funny and that you would have to live paycheck to paycheck and you would have to deal with this ailment and that ailment and you would have to deal with this and you would have to deal with that. No, hold up. This is not what he has promised me when he already told me in his word that he would make me the head and not the tail. He would make me the lender and not the borrower. He said that he comes that I might have life, not only to have life, but I will have that and it more abundantly. Come on. So the things that I'm dealing with, they're not matching up. So that's what the first hold up means. The first hold up says, I know that there is something wrong. I know that there's something wrong. Hold up. This ain't what he promised me. But the message is entitled, Hold Up. What's the hold up? Now I had to identify what's the hold up. What's keeping me? Come on. If there been anybody that's been wondering, what is keeping me from having the things that God has promised me? Woo! Oh my. What's the thing that's keeping me from fully embracing the things that God has said concerning me? What is it? What is it? I gotta get this thing right because I know that there's some things that God has promised me, but what's the hold up? Here, Elijah has given Naaman the instruction. And Naaman wasn't necessarily looking for the instructions because verse 11 begins to tell you that Naaman got angry because Naaman had it preset in his mind at how God was going to come through. Is there anybody that had it preset in their mind at how God was going to come through? Not only did you have it preset at how he was going to come through, you also had that thing on a time schedule at when he could come through. Come on here. And not only that, you also had it at where he could come through. Look at what Naaman said in verse 11. But Naaman was angry and went away saying, behold, I thought. Come on. Is there anybody that their own thinking got them messed up? My thinking got me messed up. Naaman said, behold, I thought he would surely come out to me and stand and call upon the name of the Lord his God and waved his hand over the place. So Naaman actually thought, come on here, maybe Naaman heard about all the times that Jesus had healed, and if he laid hands on somebody or something like that. Have you ever been to a service where God told the messenger to lay hands on you, and then you went to another service and God told the messenger to blow on you, and sometimes God would tell the messenger to speak to you. Come on, and you had it preset at how God was going to do it. I just knew somebody was going to lay hands on me. I just knew he was going to have somebody to pick up the phone and call me. Come on, I just knew he had somebody that was going to send me a DM. Come on, is there anybody that had it preset at how God was going to come through? And then when God didn't come through like that, it made you, come on, is there anybody that's been angry because he didn't come through the way that I thought he would? I knew for sure he was going to bless me with the 10,000, but I'm a little bit upset that I only got the 500. Come on, I'm upset that I got the 500 because I really was looking for the 10,000. But what is this 500 going to do? What's this 500 going to do? I just knew it was going to happen a certain kind of way. And when it didn't happen that way, it made Naaman angry. And Naaman began to detail at how he thought God was going to move through Elijah. He said, I just knew he would come out and say unto me, and wave his hand over the place and cure my leprosy. I just knew he was going to come that way. I knew he was going to come that way. And when he didn't come through that way, it made me angry. And the thing that we got to be careful about is when we get angry because, watch this, God does not come through the way that we think he ought to come through. It will lead us into a state of disobedience. Ooh, did somebody catch that? The things that I should be doing. I'm now so angry, I'm not even doing those things anymore. I'm rebelling against the things that God has promised me, the things that God has instructed me to do. Excuse me. I'm now rebelling because I'm angry. I know I should be doing this and I should be doing that. I should be giving God my best. But now I'm angry and I'm not even doing that. Because he did not come through the way that I thought he was going to come through. So now not only am I angry, but I'm also now in a state of disobedience. Come on here. Oh my. I'm in a state of disobedience now because my anger has turned into rebellion. Is there anybody that they've been so angry that now your anger has turned into a state of rebellion? But you're still looking for the manifestation. Oh my. I'm still looking for the manifestation though I'm angry. And though I'm in rebellion, I'm looking for the manifestation. But how many of you know that Naaman had his manifestation, but his manifestation was held up? Come on here. You might be like, well, pastor, well, preacher, how can you say that he had the manifestation? Because let me tell you, let me go back to verse 10. Come on here. Because I came to serve notice on some of you that you have your own manifestation. Look at verse 10 and it says, and Elijah sent a messenger to him saying, so Elijah sent a messenger unto him saying, go and wash in the Jordan 7 times, and your flesh shall be restored, and you shall be clean. Elijah gave Naaman his manifestation. But because the manifestation did not come in the manner that he was looking for it to come in, he did not even realize that, watch this, his manifestation was trapped inside his ears. Woo! Did somebody just catch that? The manifestation that I've been looking for, the thing that I've been waiting on God to do, the thing that I know that God has promised me is trapped inside my ears. Come on here. Somebody just pull on your ears. I got to get my ears. I got to get my ears open. I got to get my ears open. Because that's where my manifestation is. Oh God, did somebody catch that? You've been looking for God. Ain't nobody, I came to serve notice on you. Ain't nobody gonna lay hands on you on this one. Oh God. If anything is gonna happen to get you to your manifestation, they're gonna give you some instructions. And some of us at this point, we need to close our eyes. I don't care. Antonio's going to give me one of those towels down there. And watch this, because this is literally what some of us have to do. I'm in a place now. I can't even look at nothing because now I need to block out everything that might be obstructing my ears from hearing, because so many times what happens to us is we're too busy looking for it that we're not, watch this, paying attention to what God is actually saying. Then it will give us the thought that he ain't coming through, that he's not going to do what he said. When in all actuality, he said, behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey, a curse if you disobey. So basically what God is saying, I'm going to give you the set of instructions that's going to get you to your manifestation. Come on, I just need for somebody to type it in the message box. I got to check my ears. I got to open my ears for this one. I got to open my ears for this one. And watch this, because Elijah was so preset. I don't think we have any of our nurses on here today, but nevertheless, whenever your bones begin to grow in a manner that is damaging to you, and whenever it grows to a place and the growth is not beneficial to the body, there are times, come on, that what the doctor will do is that the doctor will sometimes have to break. Oh God. He will have to break your bones. If your bone is not growing to where it's going to, watch this, produce functional movement in your body, what will happen is the doctor will do some tests and he will do some observations and he will do some MRIs and he will do some x-rays and he will make sure that if the bone is not growing the way that it needs to, at the last resort, he will decide and talk over the health options and the choices that you have. And what he will tell you is, when it grows to that state, he said, we got to break it. Come on. He said, we got to break it. In order to reset this bone so it can grow properly, he said, we got to reset it. We got to reset it, because at the way that it's growing right now, it's not going to be useful to you later. And for some of us, because we have it preset at how God is going to come through for us, how God is going to manifest himself. For some of us, we are in a condition, we're in a state where all God is doing is that he is breaking the presets of your mind. And the doctor, he will break the bone. He's not breaking the bone to hurt you, but he's breaking the bone to set it in position so it can grow and you can do and you can function the way that you need to. It doesn't mean that it's not painful. Come on here. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. But all he is doing is resetting it so it can grow effectively, so it can be used purposely. And this is what God had to do with Naaman. Because Naaman had it preset how God was going to come through. How God should do it. How God should manifest himself. But God didn't come through like that. Is there anybody that's been, watch this. You've been feeling some type of way because you thought God was going to come through, and now you're in the stage where God is presetting and opening you up to let you know that he is God and that he can do it any kind of way that he wants to do it, but he will always do it in a way that will cause your faith. Come on here. God says, yes, I could have gave you an instant healing. I could have gave you the money. I could have called somebody to walk up to you and give you $1 million check. Come on here. I could have done all of that. I could have fixed the relationship yesterday. Oh God. I could have opened the business door for you yesterday. He said, but I'm God enough to know if I would have did it like that, it would not have produced the strength of your faith. Come on here. That's a word for somebody. That's why I didn't do it the way that you had it preset that I should do it, because that was not going to produce the faith that I needed for you to have in the places that I'm taking you in. It wasn't going to produce the kind of faith that I needed. It wasn't going to produce the kind of faith that you were going to need. So I let it be uncomfortable because I knew it was going to strengthen your faith. That's somebody's word. Because somebody's been asking God, why has it been like this? And why has it been like that? He said, because I knew what it was going to take. I'm presetting your faith. Because I know what it's going to take in order to get your faith at the level that it needs to be at. Because where I'm taking you is greater than where you have been. And if where I'm taking you is greater than where you have been, then your faith also has to be greater. Because I'm never going to take you to a place and not equip you. I'm just not a God that takes you to a place. I'm a God that provides substance so you can maintain the place that I'm taking you in. Come on here. Because some of us are just happy about going. And God said, that's not enough for me, just for you to go there. I'm more than that. I'm more than a God that can just take you there. Ooh, come on here. Somebody needs to understand that. I'm more than a God that can just take you there. But I'm God enough to keep you there. Come on here. I'm God enough to give you dominion there. Come on here. I just don't want to take you to a certain level of success and you can't maintain it. I just don't want to take you to a certain place of healing and you cannot maintain it. I need for somebody to understand that God says, I want you to have dominion in the place that I'm taking you. Come on. I want you to have dominion in the place that I'm taking you. Hold up. What's the hold up? Naaman had the instructions. Naaman had, watch this, Naaman had his manifestation, and his manifestation was trapped inside his ears. Woo! Is there anybody that says, I know what God has spoken to me. I know what God has said to me, and I'm angry at the wrong person because the manifestation is trapped inside my ears. I know what I heard him say, but because I had it preset in my mind at how he was going to come through, when he was going to come through, and where he was going to come through, I got angry because it didn't happen fast enough. It didn't happen quick enough. It didn't happen where I wanted it to happen at. So now I find myself angry. And in the process of being angry, I have now fell into a state of rebellion. But I'm mad at God when I really should be looking at myself, telling myself, you have what it takes to come out. It's trapped inside your ears. It's called instructions. Ooh. I've been looking for God to move in my finances, but I'm not a giver. Oh God. I've been looking for God to move in my health, but I eat every pack of Oreos and Chips Ahoy that I could possibly get my hands on. Nor do I exercise. I've been looking for God to do this, but I'm doing the opposite of what he said. When I know what his instructions say. But I'm still holding on because I want God to do it in spite of the decisions that I've made and the decisions that I'm making. I want God to do it anyway. And God is having to break that mentality. And he's saying, I'm going to let you stay there. Watch this. I'm going to let you stay there until you decide to come out. Wait a minute. You mean that God is not going to force you? No. He's not going to make you? No. He's not going to pull you? He's not going to drag you? No. He's not going to do any of that. God is going to let you stay there as long as you choose to stay there. Is your manifestation held up inside your ears? I've been looking for God to move. I've been expecting God to move. I've been even decreeing and declaring that God will move. When I'm stuck in a state of disobedience because I'm angry. As long as Naaman stood, you got to watch this. As long as Naaman stood, verse 11, but Naaman was angry and went away. Naaman went in another direction because he was angry. He's wanting to be healed from the leprosy, but he's angry and he went in the opposite direction. Come on here. I'm wanting God to move in my finances, but I'm angry and I'm buying everything except what I should be doing. I'm doing everything else what I should be doing. I'm wanting God to move in my health, but I'm doing everything opposite of what he said. But Naaman was angry and he went away saying, behold, I thought he would surely come out to me and stand and call upon the name of the Lord his God and wave his hand over the place and cure the leper. Verse 12. Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Basically, what Naaman was saying is there not a better way he could have done this? Could I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned and went away. Watch this. He started out just being angry. But verse 12 says, watch this. So he started talking to himself about what he thought should happen and how it should happen and where it should happen. Watch this. His anger now turns into rage. Come on. Is there anybody that, watch this, that now you're so mad about what you thought God should have did, how God should have did it, when and where he should have did it, now that you have surpassed the stage of being angry to now where you are in full-blown rage? But that's not the end of it. Because we talked about this and we preached about this a couple of weeks ago when I told you some of us need to look through our cell phones and we need to put a star. What kind of people did we call them? Does anybody remember what kind of people did we call them? We called them a certain kind of people in our cell phones. And I would have to look back at my messages at what we call those people, but we need those kind of people in our lives that can help us in those moments. Because Naaman had, come on here, Naaman had what he needed in order to get his manifestation, in order to get his healing. Naaman had it. It was just hold up, it's inside of his ears. Watch this. The way you think about God will affect what's in your ears. Somebody got to catch that. What your thoughts about God will affect your ears. It will affect your ability to hear God. Because watch this. Naaman got the instructions from Elijah. But because of what he thought, come on here, it held up his manifestation. Come on here. Is there anybody that you have? You have what God has said, but because of what you think, it's holding up your manifestation. It's holding up your manifestation. Because I don't see how going to dip in dirty water is going to get me my manifestation. I don't see how tithing is going to get me my financial breakthrough. I don't see how eating all this spinach, lettuce, and tomatoes and cucumbers is going to get me my healing. I don't see how. Is there anybody that's been struggling because you don't see how the instructions that God has gave you is going to get you your manifestation? So I've been struggling in that area because in my mind, I can't even process how that's going to be. But watch this. How many of you know that it's not necessarily the instructions? It ain't the water. Come on here. I need for somebody to understand it's not the water. Oh God. It's not the rivers. Let me just be honest with you. It ain't your tithes. Oh God. It ain't your offerings. It ain't your giving that's going to get you to the place that God has promised you. It's your obedience. Come on here. I need for somebody that really understand that to give me a virtual hand wave. It's my obedience. And you thought the church just wanted your money. No, that ain't what it is. All the church wants is your obedience. Because as long as you obey God, you're going to have everything that God has promised you, when he promised you, and how he promised you. It is not the lettuce and the tomatoes and the spinach and the cucumbers. Come on here. It's your obedience. If you don't do anything else, just obey God. If you don't eat another salad, just obey God. If you don't give another offering, just obey God. And I promise you that as long as you obey God, you're going to have everything that God has ever promised concerning you. Because what God is trying to get you to understand is that it was never about the specifics of the instructions, more so than it was your obedience. Come on here. That's all God is trying to do, is get you to operate in obedience, because obedience is what's going to get you to walk into the blessings of the Lord. But for some of us, we got to break the things that's been held up inside of our head, that's now holding up our ears, that's now holding up our obedience. And now what we're doing is we have went from being angry to being rageful. And in the process, we're blaming the very outlets that are helping us. But we need these kind of people in our lives. We need these kind of people in our lives to help us. Verse 13, as we get ready to close, because we're a few minutes over. But his servant came near, and said unto him, my father, it is a great word the prophet has spoken to you. Will you not do it? He has actually said to you, wash and be clean. His servant said, he didn't give you nothing hard to do. All he asked you to do in simplicity was to go wash and be clean. You're not going to do that. Come on here. Because some of us have been trying to make sense out of the things that God has told us to do, because we didn't think that he was going to, he couldn't do it that way. He wasn't going to do it that way, because I thought he would let me hit the lottery. I thought he would just wave his hand and my ailments would be gone. Come on. If we can just be truthful about it as we get ready to close, is there anybody that's been mad and been angry, and you can give me a virtual hand wave, or you can type it over in the message box, and you've been struggling with the things that God has told you to do because you had it preset? I saw him do it for the Joneses like this, so why come he couldn't do it for me like that? I read, come on here, is there anybody that wake up in the morning times and you see that some person who don't even, or you don't even really know their relationship, but they have just they just hit the lottery, and you be like, Lord, if that could just be me, all my problems would be over. God, why come that couldn't be me? Because God is saying, I knew that if I did it that way, that was not going to be the way that was going to mature your faith. So I knew that you needed something different. So I took you this way. Come on, I took you this way. Because I'm just not trying, watch this, God is just not trying to take you there. He's trying to actually get you so you can maintain and sustain being there, so you can have dominion there. I just don't want you to go there. I'm just not trying to take you there. Come on, I'm trying to give you dominion there. I need for somebody to catch that. God is just not trying to take you there, Monica. He said, I'm trying to give you dominion there. Taking you there is a light thing for me, but I want to give you dominion in that place. Glory be to God. I want to give you dominion in that place. That they know that there's something special about you. There's something different about you. There's something that sets you apart. And every now and then, you need somebody, like I said, go through your phone and check your phone and put a star beside those people who you know that you will listen to. Come on here. When you got an attitude, there's still some people that you will listen to. Just go through your phone and check your phone. I'm mad, I'm angry, but there is a voice. There is somebody with a voice in my phone that they can get through to me when I'm having those moments, when I'm feeling that type of way. They can get through to me. Now, I might not like what they say, and I might have to process it after the fact. But because I know who they are, and because of their relationship with me, I will listen even when I don't like it. I will let them plant the seed. And verse 14, as we get ready to close. So he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan. Come on. According to the word of the man of God. And his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child. And he was clean. As long as Elijah held the instructions in his ears and never moved in the things that he was instructed to do, Elijah was holding up his own manifestation. I need for somebody to understand that. If there's some things that God has told you to do, but because you had it preset at how you thought he should have came through, when he should have came through, and where he should have came through, you got angry at first, and then you begin to operate in, watch this, rage, and then it resulted in your disobedience to the point that you would not even move in the things that God has told you to move into. And that was what was holding up your manifestation. That was what was holding up your miracle. That was what was holding up your new thing. Come on. Because as long as Naaman would not move in the things that Elijah had told him and instructed him to move into, he was holding up. Come on here. I need for the people of God to see this, that he was holding up his own miracle. Is there anybody that can say, God, I've been holding up my own miracle because I know what you told me. I know what you promised me, but I had it preset at how you should have came through. I've been holding up my own stuff. I can't even be mad at you no more. Because when I look at what you told me to do and the fact that I have not done it, I've been holding up my own stuff. Because I've been scared. Because I've been hurt. Because I've been disappointed. I've been holding up my own stuff. I know this is not the way that life is supposed to be for me, but I've been holding up my own stuff. But today, God, I realize what's the holdup. I realize what's been holding me up. I even realize, come on, where it's been held up at. But today, today, I'm making a different choice. I've heard what you said, God. But I do understand that hearing is not enough. I got to do it now. I got to move to that place that you've told me to move into. And I'm going to read verse 14 again. So he went down and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the word of the man of God. and his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Your new and your clean is held up inside your ears. And as long as Naaman stood there, whether he was mad, whether he was angry, whether he was in rage, whatever condition that he was in mentally, it did not make God change his instructions. Are you holding up what God has promised you could have? Because you're not moving in the things that he's instructed you to move into. Your job, your business, your finances. Are they held up inside of your own ears? Hold up. What's the hold up?